Warcraft 3, a game that doesn't need any introduction, a game with countless reviews on YouTube, and yet here I am, reviewing the game for one more time. But this is not your ordinary YouTube video about Blizzard or Reforged shenanigans. It's about the good old days and a kid that fell in love with the game. I was only 6 years old when I saw the game for the first time. I've never heard of orcs, elves, or undeads, so watching my older brother playing it was something magical to me. Finally, I could play the game myself when I was around 9 years old, and it was amazing. Everything about the game was great. The sound effects, the music, the unique way of everyone dying,
Our hero has fallen.
the sound they made when you're clicking on them too many times,
Yes? Darkness, hey, what's up? The demon hunter left you a message? No, I don't have his number.
everything was just great. Unlike nowadays, one of the least important parts of the game was the actual gameplay. Maybe the only thing that bothered me even as a kid was the fact that I couldn't have a huge army. Managing an army was hard as well, as I could only choose 12 soldiers at a time, and sometimes I was sending my workers to fight without knowing it. As a kid, I couldn't understand many mechanics of the game. For example, why do workers sometimes gather less gold? What do these upgrades do? How can I get the hero's ultimate abilities? There were so many questions in my head, and there was no one to answer them. I had to learn all of it by myself, and each time I learned something new, it was the best feeling imaginable. The story is one of the most iconic things about the game, and those cinematic videos were mind-blowing. I couldn't speak English at the time, so I couldn't understand the story completely. But of course, I made my own stories all the time. For example, I thought that Uther is the father of Arthas, and orcs are pure evil just like in the Lord of the Rings movie. Unfortunately, not speaking English meant that I couldn't go further than Chapter 6, The Calling. The quest was to
Purge this city.
and kill 100 zombies. I assumed that Mal'Ganis is the one that turns people into zombies, so I never destroyed any houses. Instead, I always waited for him to attack and turn people into zombies. But he would teleported them away and I couldn't even kill one zombie, let alone 100. So this was the end of campaign for me, but I could always imagine how Arthas will defeat Mal'Ganis. I was sure that's how the story would end. The map also suggested that it would be the last chapter of the game, as it seemed I explored all of the Lordaeron and reached to the castle, so there was no way a story would end differently, right? One time when I was looking in the game files, I found something magical. The Frozen Throne. It turned out that Reign of Chaos wasn't the only Warcraft 3 out there, and there was just another Warcraft with more units, more heroes, and most importantly, new campaigns to play. The campaigns were awesome. Fighting against overpowered Nagas to finally play as them was one of the best things in the game. Illidan was my favorite new character, and it just broke my heart when he was my enemy in the last stage. As you might have guessed, I couldn't complete the last stage. In fact, to this day, I've never won this stage without cheating. I remember paying money to one of my friends for getting the cheat codes, and it was worth it. Not only I finally finished the Frozen Throne campaign, now I could go back to Reign of Chaos and finish all of the missions as well. I always thought Arthas is the main character of the game and the ultimate good guy, so it was disappointing seeing this guy in Frozen Throne was actually Arthas. Well, at least as an adult I appreciate this great story. After school, I used to go to the gaming cafe with my friends. We always played Counter-Strike 1.6 as it was the hardest multiplayer game of the time. One day, I saw a bunch of people playing Warcraft 3, but I couldn't recognize the map. It was then that I realized not only there are thousands of new maps for the game, I could actually make my own maps as well. Finally, my wish for having the largest army could come true. In addition to the maps that I could make, I got many maps from the gaming cafe, including Purge Wars, Castle Fight, and of course, Defense of the Ancients, the Dota. I could spend all of my day playing Dota and not feeling tired, but I guess that's a story for another video. I've played Warcraft 3 for most of my life. I've played many better games in terms of both graphics and gameplay, but none of them can give me the feeling that Warcraft did. I just miss being that naive kid who could enjoy the game without complaining about the graphics. A boy who didn't need 2 hours lore video because he could fill the gaps of the story with his own imagination. He could slowly understand everything about the game because searching online wasn't a thing back in the day. All he ever wanted was to come back from school and just play the game. Those were the good old days when life was simpler and more enjoyable. I would give anything to play a game that gives me the joy like Warcraft 3 once gave me. Thank you for watching my video.
I stand for the fuck. For the